Hello, welcome to Nursing 435, the classroom component, the orientation for this course. I want to walk you through this, and I'll leave this open to you all semester so you have availability to view it several times if you need it. And as always, you can always email me, and I will respond pretty rapidly. I try to do that pretty quick. Every Monday, I will post a new announcement right here. I'll do a couple of different things. I'm going to tell you what we did in the previous week, so that way it'll jar your memory if you forgot to do something, so you can pay attention and maybe do it next time if it's due. And then I'm going to tell you what the points are in the course up until that point. You can always determine your grade by going to the grade book and looking at the competency validation. Do not look at this uncategorized part. This just is anything that I add in the course, it automatically throws it in there. I don't look at this at all. I actually pull scores from SurePath or Evolve itself. Every week, these 3 columns will be updated depending on what we had due that week. Notice, well, we'll get to that in just a second. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do when you come into the course is go to your course materials, and yours will look a little bit different than mine. Hopefully you won't have this part down here. So hopefully you'll be able to click on this orientation video. Like I said, it'll be available to you all semester. So whenever you need to view that or reference that, please go back and see that. The second thing I want you to see is the syllabus, and we are all using the university template for this. So they should all look a little more similar this summer. With this, it has the course map integrated within it. So for this course, it's asynchronous online. It is summer. It is 2 credit hours. If you need to speak with me, use the little signature line underneath my email address and to set up a time to talk with me, or you can just shoot me an email and I'll get with you. I'm usually pretty easy to respond. I will respond within 24 hours Monday through Friday, and if it's on the weekend or holiday, it will be 48 hours. I try to be electronic free on Sundays for sure. Course description here, and what we're looking at is really setting you up for success on not only the HESI but for NCLEX. And NCLEX leadership plays a big role with NCLEX, especially when we look about prioritizing care and delegation. I know from the past 4 years that we've had live reviews on campus, that's one of the areas that they tend to hit pretty hard, so setting you up for success on that. And then you can look and see we're going through all 5 of our program learning objectives. And then for level 3 objectives, so this is a little bump up from what you did in the spring because we're moving into level 3. So we're working on these 5 level 3 objectives. And then we're looking at these 5 different learning outcomes that are specific to this course in and of itself. We really want to differentiate the differences between leadership and management. And I'll talk a bit about that too in your video introduction for the clinical component that goes with this course. Our courses through Evolve will do these things for our strategies. You need to make sure you're registered for this course as well as the clinical course that's associated with that, so 435C. Make sure that is your responsibility, so make sure you're registered. So just because you're in Evolve doesn't mean you have registered for this course. Make sure you do that, otherwise you can't graduate. Okay, I've been very intentional and purposeful about what is in this course, trying to minimize what is due every week so you don't have multiple assignments. I've really got it narrowed down. There's only 1 week that has 2. Every week has 1 thing that's due in addition to reading your chapters. So you'll see that I do have this course orientation that's online. On Monday the 12th, I will be in I will be available if anybody wants to talk via virtual office hours. I will post the link to that in the course on that Monday, and I will share that so that if anybody wants to pop in, they're certainly welcome to. It is not obligatory. It is completely optional, just if you have questions after looking through the course. So if you have that, if you want to pop into that, feel free to join me at this time. Otherwise, office hours for the summer are completely flexible, and I try to meet with you with your needs. So as we look through this, you'll notice we've got 3 different things that we're doing. I've got HESI prep EAQs, and there are just 4 of them, so don't freak out. The 4 that have been selected were based on what's on the HESI exit exam, the HESI specialty exam for this course, as well as components that are found on the HESI exit exam. And we know that things that are on the HESI exit exam have been pulled from NCLEX. So they're specifically geared. So no chapter EAQs, they're specifically looking at HESI prep for this course. So also note that if you complete it by the due date, you get the full credit for it. It's really a pass or fail option. I will not open them up late. So complete them by 23:59 on the 18th, or the due date that you'll notice. And I end my courses on Sunday night so that I can grade everything on Monday mornings. I will not open that up. If you miss a due date, you'll miss the points for that week. So you can kind of walk through here and see what we're doing. So another HESI, week 2, we've got a HESI prep. Week 3, 4, and 5, we're looking at specific case studies. And notice that I've got these where they're being graded on the first attempt. I know in nutrition, I encouraged a lot of you to work together, which is fine. And if that's how you learn best, again, that's fine. But what I'm seeing is that when you're depending on other people, I'm not seeing as good of grades on the HESI specialty exam, which translates to not being ready for that exit exam and then not being prepared for NCLEX 2. So if you're getting a sticky widget and you need to have help, by all means, reach out to a classmate or me, but try to do these independently because they're your study guides for your HESI specialty exam. You can't ask for help on that, so this is kind of setting you up for that. Then you'll notice I've got another type of EAQ. So these EAQs are more of the traditional ones you're used to, more of the multiple choice. These the NCLEX ones are more of the bow ties or the select all that apply. So they're a little bit different, and there are fewer of them. I think the most was about 12, it looked like, on one of these. Take your time with these. I want to encourage you not to cheat and not to do these with your classmates because it's specifically designed to help you be successful on the HESI specialty exam that's associated with this class. This is graded, so I will pull the grade that's associated with this at the end of the week. So on that Sunday night at 23:59, I'll pull that grade on Monday morning. I think it's the week 7 is the only week that there are 2 things that are due. And there's a reason for that. I wanted to build on what we've done the week prior as well as this week. So being able to pull on those 2 concepts, I didn't want them, I wanted them to be fresh in your brain, which is why those 2 assignments are in that 1 week. And then you can keep seeing how we go through the course. This is the week of your live 3-day review, which is very helpful. So there's no chapter reading, just this one NCLEX prep. It's graded. And you can kind of see where we are. Your goal is to hit this 900 or higher on this first HESI so that you don't have to take the second HESI. That's way down here. So that will be on the 22nd at 10 a.m. I'm sure it will be in, I don't know what, where it'll be. It'll be where they tell me to go. And then I want to look at the grades for this. So on the NCLEX prep, so those will be these babies right here. NCLEX prep, there are 4 of them. They're worth 25 points, up to 25 points with an earned grade based on the score you achieve by the due date. Then the HESI prep EAQs, there are 4 of those. They're each worth 25 points. And if they're completed by the due date, you get the full 25 points. And then the leadership case studies, there are 4 of those. They're worth up to 25 points. With your grade earned being what's put into the grade book. So basically the NCLEX EAQ and the case studies are based on what you earn, the grade you earn, and the HESI prep one is based on completion. And then your HESI conversion score. And notice in all your courses in level 3, which is the summer, this goes up to 25%. So it's worth a heavier weight on your score. And then you also have the option, so say you get a B in the class doing all of these and you score a 901 and you get a 92 on your conversion score, then I'll take that 92 and give you an A in the course because you earned it. And then a little bit of description about what each of those things are. And I'm trying to be very explicit about when things are due for this course. I realize you have a lot of other courses this summer, so that's why everything was chosen very intentionally by design. But that also means that you need to keep up with when things are due. If you are a pencil paper person, print this out and highlight when you've done things, mark them off your list. I will not open up any thing if you missed it during the week that it was due, that was your opportunity. It will not be opened up again because it's not fair to the individuals who completed it when those things were due. Same grading scale that we've used for the entire course or entire program. I couldn't get this to copy paste and pull up here, so there's a little bit of white space before we go down here. On our HESI exam policy, we're doing a couple of different things to hold you to a higher standard this summer in preparation for, again, that NCLEX or that HESI exit and then NCLEX. And when we do things, we don't just do them willy-nilly. We really track the data. So our first goal is that you get that 900 on that first exam. If you get that 900 on first HESI, you still have to do the remediation, because we found that remediation, when done intentionally, assists you with synthesizing this material. So we're gonna keep that on there. So get your 900. You don't have to take the second version, but you do need to complete remediation. And then on the second version, if you don't get the 900, you have to do that remediation as well. And that is significant because I want you guys to be able to enter your grades quickly. So because if you don't enter your grades, you don't graduate, you don't get to take boards. So make sure that if you have to do remediation on version 2, that you do that as quickly as possible. I'll announce a date when we get closer to time. It'll probably be that Sunday following pinning. That's what I'm thinking. Then also notice that we're putting on a low end minimum score. You have to achieve a 700 on this specialty exam. Just like with all versions, you're shooting for the 900. The 900 is linked with a 98.4% predictability of doing well on the NCLEX. So that's why we're shooting for that score consistently. This 700, we got this number by looking at past data. We have data from 5 years. So students that typically don't score at or above a 700 are, 1, they're not successful on the HESI exit exam, and 2, they're not successful on NCLEX. So we want to set you up for success on that, which is why that number is giving you a low end for that. I don't want you to blow off that HESI. It's designed intentionally to help you do well in this for the HESI specialty exam and the NCLEX and the HESI exit. And then there's some more things here. And then I'll have another syllabus for clinical, which is a little bit more specific. So you can find the syllabus right here. Then you know where your sure path is. And I want to cover 2 more things. I think my timer is going to go out, so I'm going to cut this video and do a second video, and it'll just say part B, where I cover what's under your different tabs.